Hi, you guys. This is Rachel, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video of the week. As always, I like to guide those of you that are new to the channel to go check out my website. My website's themodernshaman.net, and there are just a lot of resources there. If you're interested in further developing your spiritual awareness, your psychic and shamanic knowledge, I have a masterclass teaching curriculum that's available on that website. For those of you that watch these videos but still want more, there's homework, there's each video module has a guided meditation and activation and further handouts and PDFs. It's just way more information and it's more hands-on, where I'm teaching you like a teacher would teach you. This is more informative. So if you're wanting to really get down to the nitty-gritty and work on these aspects of yourself, I would encourage you to go to the website, click on that portal that takes you to my masterclass teaching curriculum. There's also information there that helps you develop your shamanic awareness, as well as if you're wanting to step into your gifts as more of an entrepreneur and turn this into a business to support yourself and to outreach more people on this earth, if that's what you feel called to do. The last thing that's on that website, obviously, is my sessions. If you just like a one-on-one session with me for shamanic healing, for some ceremonial work, or a psychic session, past life viewing, anything like that, that's all available also on the website. Again, themodernshaman.net. Okay, here is the question for the week. This says, Rachel, thank you so much for your channel. I often go to it when I need to feel close to God. And I want to ask this simple question: how do I develop my own personal relationship with God? I want to feel closer and oftentimes feel alone. The first thing I want to remind you of is that you are spirit before you come into body. You are part of and an aspect of God, of the source. So you are never separate. And nothing that is created can be destroyed, right? In terms of matter, you are a part of and an aspect of the living supreme creator, source energy. So whatever you call that, whatever title you give that, you are a part of that already, always. And the spark of you that is living, that is alive, that is animated with life, that has this life force to it, that can breathe and talk and think, and the animation that flows into what would otherwise be a dead and dormant body and animates it with life, that is God. That is an animating consciousness. And that energy always is connected. You're never alone. Although what you're asking about is more about the relationship, the intimacy, the enjoyment of relating to your creator and your sense of source and that connection. And connection has such a benefit for all of us as we are living a human experience. So I understand that. First thing I want to say is that if you invite in that energy, have the invitation and simply say that, like the prayer, petitioning and saying, God, I want you to come close. I want you in my heart. I want you in my life. A creator, I want a relationship with you. Ancestors, higher self, this is what I'm seeking. And if you put your whole heart, meaning you fill that energy with your presence, then spirit will meet you there. These are the verses of the Bible that talk about seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be opened. Your seeking heart, your desire, that energy in itself is a magnetic pull for energy to answer. This is the question going out. And when you are seeking or you are asking it to be present in your experience, to come close, to show itself, and you are asking with your whole heart, 100% of your energy, when your desire and your passion is truthful, you're not faking that, you mean it, then Spirit will meet you there. Scientifically, 100% of the time. The key is the intentional desire, okay? And this is true in all relationships, right? You have to have desire to be in that relationship. You have to desire the other person you're with. You have to have that passion involved in it. Otherwise, it fizzles and there's no sense of truth there, sincerity that's there. It becomes rote, it becomes mechanical instead of relational and intimate, which is what I hear that you're seeking. So that's the first thing. Ask for it, and ask for it with your whole freaking heart, all of your soul. And if you can't quite get yourself there, if it feels really foreign and silly, put yourself in an environment that induces that, that's conducive to bring out the passion in you. So this is why we set ceremonies. We put candles around us. We get in our closet where nothing else is going to distract us. We turn off all the lights where we're not going to see ourselves or feel, silly doing it. We close our ears and we say it out loud and we hear it from inside of our body instead of on the outside where we sound silly. We get on our knees, we pray, we close our hands, we lay our body flat on the floor, whatever it is for you that moves you into that state of, I freaking mean this, and I mean it, and I'm saying it, and I'm crying out for this. This is my wholehearted desire. That is the first thing that you need. Okay. The second thing is develop the relationship. It is relational. So think about the things that develop a good relationship in your mind, right? These are spending time together, getting to know the other. So this is what I like to teach when I teach the psychic development, learning your psychic senses, right? And going through each of those and engaging in communication with the non-physical. So asking Spirit, speak to me. Let me hear your voice. Let me see you in all ways that I may see you. Let me know what it is that you're saying to me when you speak. Let me understand you. Speak to me in my dreams. Speak to me in my visions. Speak to me through the words of people, of children, of billboards on the screen, of movies that have some message for me, of songs that resonate in my heart. Speak to me through any and all modalities. And speak it over and over and over until I get it, till it's like a big billboard on my forehead and in my heart, and it is tattooed inside of me, and I feel your message. Give it to me in all the sensations I feel. Let me have tears knowing that confirmation is true for me. Chill bumps on my physical body every time that something is a message for me. Ask for it in the way that you want to receive it. And ask that the message be spoken louder if you can't hear it, or felt deeper if you can't feel it. And then sit and intently listen and engage in this as if you would be engaging in a regular conversation with someone that you're dating, that you want to start a relationship with. So you go through all of those things like devotion to the time, okay? And this is what people consider like quiet times or meditation. These things are devotional in nature. Like we get up, we do it whether we want to or not. And that sets that standard of like trust and safety, and you can depend on me. These are relational components that we develop in our 3D relationships and our material relationships that are also required in our non-physical relationships. Spend time developing that connection, that intimacy. And when you hear a voice, an intuitive voice of guidance or direction, listen to it and respond back to it. Listen to it and respond back to it. You don't have to do it out loud, but do it in your own internal realm. And get used to that and comfortable with that. And then I would say, finally, move into a sense of action, right? Not just hearing it, but do something about it. This is like in a regular relationship where you go and you do activities together. This is kind of more masculine in nature, right? as a woman, we're like, oh, we're going to communicate. We're going to have conversation. I'm going to journal back and forth with spirit. I'm going to talk in my head. But for a man, it's like, let's go get in nature. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a hike. Let's go fishing. Let me sit and contemplate and look at the stars. There's a little bit more action involved in the relational dynamics. And this is a very, very powerful part of spending time in the energy of that relationship. So it's not just the conversations had, but it's the time spent together, the actions there that have in the intention that I am connecting with God. I'm connecting, and it doesn't matter, again, how you title God. If you title this as a goddess, if you title this as your higher self, your supreme creator, the intelligent being, the beyond, the mystery, it doesn't matter. Find a word that feels true for you and stick to that for the time being. Something that feels true, that feels accurate, and kind of, if you know, sit with that until there's a resonance that feels like I'm comfortable with this feels true for me. And then do the things that feel relationally connected to bring that out in you. I feel very connected to spirit when I do things, and I've shared this before, that move me into an energy of awe, because the mystery just feels bigger than me. Like when I go to art museums, or when I see creative, like creations that are not so much about the ego of the creator, but that have an element to them of just like, wow, or something that way beyond what I could come up with or what I could perceive. The stars give this to me too. If I sit out and I stargaze at the clouds, if I sit out and contemplate even really like information or knowledge that has to do with the solar system or how big and grand, or the microsystem and how far in, just the sense of beyond me. I love initiating that. That is very, very powerful inspiration for me. And the energy of inspiration for me always feels like the energy of spirit. I'm always wowed and in awe, and just, it is the palpable sensation of like growth, like something's being birthed and growing within me, whether it's in my mind, whether it's in my heart and my body. I feel most connected when I'm in those places. So doing things that elicit that same response in me makes me feel connected to spirit. And then when I let them sit and satiate me, meaning I don't have to get and do, I just stay in that space, it is so loving and tender. It's not just like fireworks all the time, but it has that sense of like, and now I'm here with you, and I feel you here, and I recognize the mystery and the great beyond and the source of it all. And letting that awareness come in just as much as the communication with that awareness is a beautiful balance in the relationship. I'm looking at your question, and I hope that I don't want to give you like 1, 2, 3, do these things, because then it feels like you're doing my process, and you need to do your process. It needs to feel 100% authentic to you. So take time to ask yourself, what makes me feel close to God? What are those things? What are the thoughts? What are the things I do? What are the things that I don't do that maybe I'm afraid of doing? What is it that feels like it makes me feel close to God? And get very, very deep and sincere with yourself. Because it's not all of these outside things that really do it. It's the internal space and how to get connected with that internal space. It's that space. It's like the heart of love, what makes you feel love. You know, maybe spending time with someone, but it's the internal permission that you give yourself to be vulnerable, to feel, to express, to enjoy. And that really is the opening of that fountain in your experience with God and the relationship with God. And really, when we say that we're in love with someone, that is a emotional state that comes from within you. It's an awareness that like, I am feeling this now. And the relationship and the intimacy, again, it is the permission you give yourself, or the acknowledgement of like, wow, I feel connected to them. I feel intimate with them. And maybe these outside things, when I eye gaze and I stare at them, or I stare up into the sky, whatever it is that may be making you elicit those things that are conducive to feeling the love, our action, but you have to realize and recognize that within yourself. Without that recognition and stopping and asking yourself, do I feel in love? Do I feel intimate? Without kind of letting yourself feel that, you go through the emotions and it just feels rote and routine. That kind of circles back to the first point that I made, that you allow and you try to bring 100% of your soul into what you're doing. If the energy goes stale, if you've been in a long-term relationship with God, long-term relationship with Spirit, and things start feeling stale, what do? You have to revitalize that spark. You have to renew your devotion, renew your relationship. And this always happens when we are in a relationship that's been going for a while. The energy may grow stagnant from doing the things that once worked but no longer work. So this requires expansion. And this is the continual evolution of a relationship that requires growth and going beyond our boundaries or beyond our comfort zone, and asking ourselves to go deeper, to feel more, to try new things, to renew your sense of interest and conversation with Spirit. And you can't be afraid to evolve. This is part of growth, right? And so I want to just encourage you, if you're in that space, if you have been a long time devout follower of certain practices or whatever it may be, and your heart feels not in it, your heart feels stagnant, your heart feels like, I have been this spiritualist for 20 years and I'm just not feeling what I'm doing anymore. I've been doing the same meditations and they just don't have the same power or potency that they used to for me. Don't be afraid to go farther with yourself. Instead, open up again to the same questions that I suggested earlier. What is it that does make me feel close to Spirit? What is it that I feel that I'm being drawn to? And ask yourself and spend time with those questions. If the answer doesn't come easily, spend more time with it. Get out of nature and contemplate and ask yourself. And sit and wait and notice your inspiration, and then follow that intuitive guidance. I'm glad you asked that question. And that's my heart's prayer, that with your seeking, you will receive. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Blessings, you guys. We'll be back next week with another video.